people that were asked, do you know Zambia? Can you take a holiday in Zambia? Only 3 out of 100 knew about a destination called Zambia. And 2 out of every 100 in Europe, and 5 out of every 100 in the US. And that's what motivated us to do an awareness campaign to promote and using platforms like this. So the numbers I was giving you, if we have to create this awareness, we need to go for what they call in marketing, mass marketing. So that first of all, potential tourists that want to come to Zambia need to know that there's a country called Zambia, and Zambia has so many products, and they can take holidays into Zambia. And that was the motivation for us to go the route we are going. And this is what BBC is offering us, and this is what is in this campaign. That's on the BBC side. On Expedia, which is an online tourism or travel agency, similarly, slightly different from BBC. Expedia also had to compete to get this slot. We did a tender. They were competing with the likes of Booking.com, Trivago. I think there were 4 others. And they proved to us that they had the numbers we are looking for. They were reasonable in price, and we decided to set on them. But what's the motivation? These are travel booking platforms. So this is more targeted. The trade, what we call the trade in tourism, is the travel agents, the destination marketing companies, including individuals who want to book for their travels. They go on these platforms to look for the best tickets, the best hotels. And because they spend a lot of time on these platforms, what we are trying to do is to go and advertise Zambia right in their face. Some of you have tried to do some bookings. If you go on these pages, you see adverts popping up and you see them there. So we are actually speaking directly to the audience that we are targeting. And that was the motivation to actually consider Expedia. But other than that, because of the platform they have and they've invested so much in digital, they have so much data. Data in the sense that they can give us all trains, who goes there, where are they coming from, when do they book. I mean, they gave us an example already where they were able to demonstrate to us that in the last 2-3 years, they are able to track how many people have flown into Zambia to come for holidays. And that kind of information is important for us. It's important to track how we are doing. It's important for us to know who is coming and where they are coming from. So that kind of information or data will be made available, and we'll use them for planning purposes, but we are also going to use them for monitoring and evaluation for every investment that we are putting into tourism promotion. Tourism promotion is not just marketing that is done without measuring what are the outcomes. Our funders or our financiers who are government, they've insisted, we increase your marketing budget for as long as you prove to us that there's a return on investment. What's return on investment? We want to know every dollar that we are putting in promoting Zambia, what are we getting out of there in terms of revenue that comes out of when tourists come to spend, how are we contributing to GDP, how are we contributing to creating jobs and so on. And to do that, we need data, we need information. And this is what partly Expedia is bringing to us, and I think that is important. Then we can go back to our government and say, look, you gave us so much. This is what has happened in the last 2-3 years. We need more money to do bigger things so that we can contribute more to GDP and we can contribute more in terms of ensuring that tourism employs more people. So in a nutshell, this is what is in those contracts that we've signed. They are both 6 months campaigns. After 6 months, we evaluate, again, check how we have performed. If we think we have done very well, we go again back to government and say, look, this is what we've gotten out of here. Do we want to invest more money and build this tourism sector? Let me end by saying this. We are passionate about tourism because, again, I want to be on record tourism is probably the most sustainable sector that we have as a country. We can't underplay it like it has happened in the past. Tourism is sustainable. Yes, for now we are doing very well on the mineral side, but we all know in the basic civics we did that minerals eventually they'll finish because they are physical products. Tourism is sustainable. Tourism, and we are a nature-based tourism destination, so we don't take anything away from nature. Tourism is probably currently the only sector where you can do business in every district of the country. You can think of any district. You can go there and put a basic structure, call it a lodge, market that district. We have tourists who just want to come, move around the bush and just feel nature that they've never seen before. That's a product in tourism. We have streams and rivers anywhere. All you need is just go and put a small, low-cost lodge there. You attract people who are stressed and they want to go and just spend some time near a river looking at nature. Spend 5 days there and you make money. That's what tourism is all about. Tourism employs the lowest of the skills you can think about. You don't need to be a graduate to get a job in the tourism sector. You can check the tour guides we have. You can check most of the people we have who work in the lodges, who work in these bush camps. They have basic education, but they are able to get jobs. They get trained right there while they are working. So it's another sector that can employ almost everyone anywhere. And that's why we are passionate that we need to build this. If we build it, that sector has potential one day to hit 10 million tourists, and 10 million tourists, believe you me, it's huge on GDP and it's huge on creating jobs. And that's what we are passionate about in growing the sector. So I just thought I could share a few numbers, share the vision, and share the motivation behind us doing campaigns like this. I think I'll stop here for now in case there are some questions that we can answer to. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. At this point, we're inviting questions, so you can just lift up your hand from where you are. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for clarifying. It obviously does put us, at least more knowledgeable in terms of what the science ceremony was all about. My name is Norwich, we're from Financial Insight. I think for me, I'd just like to maybe just inquire. We do know that you've been implementing the strategic plan, and maybe you could just share some key highlights as to whether this signing is also part of that strategic plan. But then also more so on the downstream in terms of the various players in the tourism sector. What sort of communication plan do you have for them to ensure that they are also able to leverage, because obviously we have noted, and credit to your tenure, that there's been an improvement in terms of the numbers of tourists coming into Zambia, and we do anticipate that there will be a surge because the platforms that Expedia has signed up with are obviously mainstream and global platforms, so that will give us a bit more visibility. And maybe on a final point, maybe are there any particular targeted countries that you'll be looking to view? I recall in one of our last interviews you did mention that China, for example, was one of those destinations, but also many other destinations. If you could just share with us.
Okay. I mean, quite a loaded question. I don't know if there are 5 questions in one, but I hope I've got the main objective of the question. First of all, just to confirm, yes, we've got a strategic plan. What we are doing here is part of the strategic plan. If you look at our strategic plan on the marketing side, we are very clear what strategies we want to use to ensure that we build tourism traffic into Zambia. Okay? One is obviously we do travel shows, which most other countries do. Travel shows simply means we'll go to London to WTM. That's where tourists meet. We meet the trade there. The trade simply means travel agencies, destination marketing, because these are in between the tourists and us who have the product. This is where they buy their packages to take holidays. So we need them to get Zambia and put them on their product profile and market on our behalf. And that's why we go to travel shows. But also there are consumer shows where consumers just come in to see which country offers which product. We want them to know about the Victoria Falls. So when we go there, we'll put up a stand and ensure that we display examples of our wildlife, we display the Victoria Falls and so on. So that's the travel shows on one side. We also do what we call familiarization trips. We look for influencers, we look for journalists like some of you. We actually bring them into the country and we take them around to actually experience the product and then go and tell the story. If you remember last year we shared that we actually hit 1.5 billion views on our social media platforms, and most of it was driven by these influencers and journalists who came, saw the product, they wrote stories about Zambia, they shared the story, and we reached out to 1.5 billion people around the world. So that's part of it. What we are doing now is to physically advertise the product using BBC. But BBC is not just going to advertise. They have travel shows. They have travel journalists who are actually physically going to come to Zambia, sample the product, document it. They are also going to shoot, if I'm not mistaken, 2 live shows will be shot from Zambia and they'll be on BBC. That's part of the package. So yes, I'm simply emphasizing that it's part of the strategy to create awareness to make Zambia very attractive. On the other side, we need to know, you talk about who else in the sector and the stakeholders we deal with. The marketing model we use in Zambia to promote tourism is very different. Remember, as a tourism agency or a marketing agency for tourism, we don't own any product. We don't sell the product. We just simply market. The selling to tourists is done by operators. These are hotel owners, the lodge owners, those who own the adventure activities, those who own the boat cruises. So those are the ones who do the selling. They are the ones who create the jobs. They are the ones who get the revenue and pay taxes. What we do is to channel traffic towards them. So we can't operate without them. So on one side, when I was talking about travel shows, when we go to put up a Zambia stand at WTM in London or Indaba in South Africa, at that stand we get these operators so that while they are selling us, we are marketing. They actually transact and do deals there. These hotels go there. I'll give you an example. The last Indaba we went to, we had 45 operators from Zambia with their stands there making deals and selling. So similarly, when we move to Expedia and we are moving to BBC, we are not going there to market Zambia Tourism Agency. You might actually not even see Zambia Tourism Agents throughout the 6 months. What you are going to see is the products that are offered by these operators. You might actually see on that travel show that will be running on BBC, Radisson Blue appearing there. You might see Mukango Lodge appearing there. You might see Livingstone Adventures showing a boat cruise. These are the products that we are taking there, and they are the ones that are going to be covered because we want to market the product. So we work with the operators, we do the marketing, they do the selling. And that's the model that we use. I hope that is very helpful and it puts clarity to the question.
Sorry, see, my colleague did quite a weighty one, but I will be very brief.
Sure.
Thoughts on bureaucracy that we need to eliminate if we are to get enough traffic and investment. I just wanted to tap your thoughts on this one. And recently at some meeting at Inters, you have talked about the need for government to develop infrastructure. How is your position now? Has that been an improvement to attract the inflow?
Yes. I think you heard that the president referred to bureaucracy. I think the government system, the way it works, there's need for minimal bureaucracy to protect the assets and the resources on behalf of the Zambian people. So you always have a bit of bureaucracy, but we need to minimize that bureaucracy. Now, there are different stakeholders even on the government side. Like I was saying, Government builds what we call the backbone infrastructure for the sector. Private sector, they want to put up lodges and adventure activities. They can't do the roads. So government has to create roads into the northern circuit. Government has to create roads into the national parks. Government has to create the airports so that people can fly into certain parts of Zambia. So that's what government is doing. And I'm not going to go into infrastructure per se. Overall, what I can tell you is that Zambia Airports Corporation, and your journalists, you can recheck, they have a huge project that they are working on upgrading airports and putting up new airports. But you can recheck that and see the plan that they have, like never seen before. Exciting for us as a sector. When you come to the Ministry of Tourism, again, there's World Bank money that was received. Most of it is going into infrastructure. It's just to ensure that we have facilities and we have roads into some of our major products, the national parks, the waterfalls. Again, that detail is there. I'm not the one running with the project. I'm just sharing. It's a 100 million World Bank project, which is purely going to ensure that that is done. So where we are as a marketing agents for tourism, we are quite happy that government has come on board to do their part. We are doing our part to do the marketing, and we have seen the excitement of the operators. They are selling, and that is what we are looking for. So it's the three: government on side, ourselves marketing, and the operators selling the product. But they've now put in the Department of National Parks, the National Museums Board, the National Heritage. We are all a team working together to ensure that we improve the sector. We are quite happy. Can we do better? Yes. But we are moving at a rate that excites us as the ones who are in direct contact with the sector.
Are we still a preferred destination?
By far, yes. And the reason is simple. What do tourists look for? One, tourists want to go to a destination that is safe. Zambia is a very safe destination. Number two, tourists want to go where they can easily get visas and travel there. I'm sure you are aware that we are now sitting at 167 countries, which were granted a waiver on visas, and that is part of why you are seeing the numbers coming. The next thing is obviously access. We have seen the number of airlines that are now coming into Zambia. That is also quite exciting. So we actually think we are well positioned, and we still believe that we are a preferred destination. We just need to make that information get a bit more known, and that's why we are going with this campaign with BBC and Expedia to communicate why we remain a preferred destination.
Do we have more questions? Yes, ma'am.
Senor, I just want to find out something. We know Zambia, the tourism platform, is synonymous with the Victoria Falls. So, is there a deliberate measure, maybe to try and market these other untapped tourism products, especially those that are in the northern segment? Under the deal.
Yes, of course. I was just talking, I think I'll refer back again to the infrastructure. I think for a long time we were a bit hesitant to push the northern circuit because of the infrastructure challenges. Colleagues, most of us here Zambians, we know how difficult it is to reach out to certain waterfalls. Fortunately, this government has come in and they are saying, we'll do the roads. We are going to bring private sector, and that's part of what our colleagues at ZD are doing. We've already done profiled projects for people to go and build lodges, to build restaurants, to build everything we need there. So we can't leave out the northern circuit in profiling what we want to market. We are marketing basically the whole entire Zambia. So when the BBC crew comes to move around and market the product, northern circuit is there. Western circuit, we want them to actually touch the Liua, as I'm sure you're aware. That's where we have the second largest wildebeest migration. Kasaka, where there is the bat migration. It's the biggest mammal migration in the world, and it's in the northern circuit. And of course, our traditional Livingstone, Lower Zambezi, Kafue National Park, and South Luangwa, where we have the highest concentration of hippos. For your information, Zambia has the largest population of hippos in the world. We are talking of in a plus or minus 60,000 hippos. There's no country that has hippos to that extent, and that excites tourists. So we are going to market the entire product range across the regions, yes.
Okay, do we have anything?
I think there's one more that I did not respond to on our preferred markets. Traditionally, our key source markets were UK, Europe, and the USA. In our strategic plan now, we've added to that. We've got what we call emerging markets based on the numbers and the spending. So we've added what we call the GCC, which is just the Arab countries, Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. We've put that on our source markets now. We've also added India, and we've also added the China and Brazil. But above that all, we've discovered that we are pulling a lot of tourists within the region. So Zimbabweans take holidays in Zambia, and it's not a market we can ignore. South Africa now have the highest numbers coming into Zambia. We are not ignoring that. And sometime this year, we'll be signing an agreement with Kenya to be exchanging tourists between Kenya and ourselves, because there are those who go in East Africa. East Africa does not have waterfalls. We have waterfalls, and we want to be having those exchange. So in short, all I'm saying is Africa as a region, we've added it also to our key source markets. So we've expanded, and those are the major markets we are going to focus on. And that was the attraction with the BBC, because they cover most of those markets. So we hope we can get results out of there.
Thank you, CEO. Nothing more? No questions? We're okay?
We are satisfied.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming through. Let me allow CEO and the two representatives to just stand this side, shake hands, and take a picture. After that, we'll allow them to go. Then we can remain in here with our business.
Okay. Thank you so much, colleagues.
Step one, again? Again? Yes, yeah.
We can take with us.
You can give them the contract so that, just for exhibition.
And I'll have one.
You can have one.
There we go.
If a backdrop or
Yes.
Okay, one more. You're not smiling though. Oh, that looks good.
We're good, I believe?
No.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mandela, you are the only one with a green camera.
It's very unique.
Thank you.
I think he's marketing his product.
Abby.
That's one of the countries